You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
Oh, okay. Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulallah. I want to thank everybody for joining the class for today. This is our Akida class, and I apologize for having to change the time, but I woke up kind of late today, and I was so caught up doing so many things that I didn't have a chance to prepare my PowerPoint, plus I had to put some more stuff out on the schedule. So I want to, thank everybody for being patient with me. And I want to ask you guys to keep me in your supplications, because you guys don't know that running a website is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're doing it, basically the technical stuff. You're doing the manual stuff like this, the streaming and all this by yourself. But I do have some great help here. I got Sister AY. May Allah bless her and forgive her of her sins. And Sister Fat May Allah bless them both and forgive them of their sins. They try to keep me on focus, about my schedules and stuff like that. They're doing the best they can do it because they are mothers. They got babies, literally babies. They have children and they have husbands, unlike me. I don't have no cheering. It's okay. Good thing. And I ain't got no husband. Bad thing, but no cheering. So, alhamdulillah, but I really hope that they understand how much I appreciate them because, we talk about women in Islam. We women are complicated creatures. We know that, like the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, if there were any creation of Allah that would be capable of outsmarting Shaitan, it would have been a woman, because we can be very, very hard and conniving and manipulative. And, it's hard working with women for that reason. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no nation will ever excel that appoints a woman as its ruler. Because we women suffer with this thing called PMS. And by the way, as an older woman, just to let you sisters know, PMS doesn't go away. You're going to always have that. In fact, it turns into another thing when you get older. When you reach the age of 50, it turns into what's known as menopause. And all menopause is, as like my doctor told me, is just another way of saying PMS, except since the woman doesn't have a menstrual cycle, but her hormones are still all over the place. Our hormones change based on the food we eat, the stress we deal with in life. In fact, things can become so overwhelming. So that's the deficiency. That's the deficiency in the woman that the Prophet Muhammad speaks about. A lot of the sisters here ask me, Sister Layla, what is meant by that hadith where the Prophet says that we women are deficient? It doesn't mean that we're less intelligent than a man, because technically, to be honest, studies have proven that women are more intelligent than a man. We're more intelligent than men are. We really are. The records show that we can grasp information and excel in it better than a man can. Even with our Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was his war advisor? The war advisor, the war strategist for the prophet was Salama. Salama was his war strategist and of Khalid bin Walid. Back in those days, the women that were not buried alive as babies that were allowed to live, in order to survive in the 6th, 7th, 8th century, they had to teach the women how to fight, because the women were viewed as nothing but pieces of meat back in those days. Women were bartered and traded. Okay, so the girl babies that the world allowed to live, the Vikings, the Arabs, the Romans, the Greeks, the Persians, back in those, even the Egyptians, any female child that was allowed to live, you know, they trained her in self-defense. And if she couldn't grasp self-defense, then they trained her in the art of poison. And back in those days, women always wore waistbands, and they carried in their waistbands vials of poison. So if they were ever a captive or taken as a prisoner or whatever, or abused or raped, or they were trained in how to seduce the man to make the man think, instead of fighting back, they wouldn't fight back. They'd pretend that they would succumb to the man, get him comfortable, and then slip him that poison to kill him. And if they couldn't do that to the man, then they would take it themselves. Oh, yeah. Those were some harsh times for women, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th century. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the women that were allowed to live, they were either trained in warfare or poison. Salama, mashallah, she was the first cousin of Khalid bin Walid. They grew up together. They were very close. As Khalid said, she was like a sister to him. And as she said, he was like a brother to her. And they sparred together. The women usually were put together with a male to spar with. He was her sparring partner. Just as Khalid bin Walid was one of the best generals of all time, so was Salama. Salama, she could work a sword just as well as Khalid bin Walid. She was a war strategist, even better than him. So that's why the prophet, after he married her, Salama attended every battle with him. She attended every battle with him, and she was his war advisor. She was a scholar of Islam, a scholar of the fiqh of warfare. People don't know that, but that's the reality. Okay, so to think that the deficiency of a woman is her brain, this is incorrect. The deficiency of the woman, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained to us in Bukhari and Muslim, is her PMS. As Aisha radiallahu anha broke it down to the Romans, when the Persian women, when they came to learn from her, as she told El-Azwad and other of the companions who came to ask her the fiqh of things. You know, she told them, the PMS is not here. It's our body. It's our hormones. The way Allah created us women. Our moods change. And it doesn't go away. When you get older, the PMS just becomes menopause. And our hormones are still overwhelmed. So that's why a woman cannot be a ruler of a country, because she doesn't think and react up to her normal capacity when her hormones are shooting all over the place due to her stress, due to her menses, due to her trying to navigate through the hardships of life. Okay, so that's why it's hard to work with women. And that's why men like to try to break them too. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells the men, be gentle with the woman. Don't try to bend her too much. Don't try to change her too much, because you'll break her. You have to be patient and gentle with him, with a woman, because we're sensitive. We go through mood swings. And if you sisters find a husband that understands that, And he can look at you and see, oh, she's just going through, some type of hormonal issue, and he remains patient with you, then you hold on to that man. Because a lot of men don't understand that. They think that we women are inferior to them intellectually, and that's not the case. Okay? So it's hard working with women. And so you guys can imagine me. I'm not a ruler of a country. I'm not a ruler of a nation, but this is my website. And I am boss daddy here. But my website is a female website. All my people here in my Zoom room, these are women. Okay. And it's hard working with women. They're different ages, different races, different cultural backgrounds. I got some of the women who have menopaused. I got other women who have PMS'd, and I got other women who are puberty, beginning puberty. So I tell you, our emotions get all over the place here. So it's not, easy, to put up with me, because lailanasheeba is a female. So I say, I want my students here who help me, Sister Awa, Sister Fame, to know how much I really appreciate them, because they do deal with me and my anxiety. They try to keep me balanced. Awa makes sure, that I remember my schedule, my classes. She'll call me to make sure that I'm awake, because she knows that I sleep. She knows my schedule. Fame will put the kids down and come in here and help me, to see what's going on all these social platforms. And also Sister Geechee, my Geechee, she's the one that does all the jingles here on our website. Oh my God. She's spitting them jingles out like, man, and they getting better and better. So I hope she understands how much I appreciate her. And then everybody else that's here, Sister Layla, my the new sister here, and all my other old Norto and Maliun and all of them, Fiza. Even though Fiza doesn't speak much, she's the best student I have here. And she logs in, and I just feel good knowing that I got Fiza here. Because she knows, she's just like me. Fiza's a lot like me. And I know that she's aware of what's going on. I feel confident knowing that she's got my back. So I hope all the sisters here understand and know how appreciative they are. Sister Sabrine, and how she's always there to let me know, Sister Layla, I'm here. Sister Anissa, with her words of wisdom, that's sometimes off the wall, but they're still words of wisdom. I just hope everybody knows how appreciated they are, because it's not easy, to deal with another woman. And I know that. All right, so let's get started here. For tonight's class, we're going to complete this chapter of the book, Diluting Wella Well Better. In this chapter, this is the chapter where Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid breaks down how Islam is the religion of all times. The Quran has provided us with the guidance, the rules, the regulations for all times. How the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's example, his sunnah, his words of wisdom never are old. How they apply to all eras of man's existence until the end of time. And he broke down in this chapter how you can't say, oh, that was the 6th century. This is the year 2024. We got technology. Where he has shown how, alhamdulillah, technology comes from Allah. All knowledge of our environment, all knowledge of the world around us, this comes from Allah. The knowledge of medicine, the knowledge of how to treat sicknesses, the knowledge of the internet, the knowledge of how to make a car, the knowledge of everything comes from Allah. And how with that knowledge, Allah still proves to us that his rules, his regulations apply to all times. And what Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd did was to take in the fact that we are in the digital era. This is known as the digital era of man's existence. In fact, the digital era really was marked as the year 2000. A lot of people thought that the world was coming to an end. Oh, the world's going to come to an end in 2000 because of digital, the internet, and all of that. It didn't. Okay? But since 2000, people think, oh, well, this is the digital era, and we have such technology that never existed. And so a lot of those hadiths are outdated. The Qurans, the rules are outdated. You got women who walk around who don't dress like Muslims. They don't wear hijab. They don't wear abaya. They'll look at a woman like me and they'll say, oh my God, she's old school. She's outdated. It's all about being naked, looking like Nicki Minaj, looking like Beyonce. No, the laws and rules apply for all eras. So what we're going to do today is complete this chapter, whereas Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd shows how, because of the technology and the fact that it came from Allah, how it even enhances our spiritual journey as Muslims. Because of this wonderful knowledge that came from Allah, we're able to reach out to people all over the world and put Islam in their house. And that's one of the predictions that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made before he died. He said, there will be no place on this planet, no home on this planet that has not heard of Islam. The companions couldn't imagine that. They didn't have TV. They definitely didn't have the internet. Well, subhanallah, these are those days. So let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And again, I want everybody to take screenshots. For my new shahadas, the rule remains the same. Make sure you guys have me on the big screen TV for your children, because our classes here at Sunnah Followers are family friendly. Family friendly. In fact, you should still be doing what you were doing during Ramadan. The husband is home from work. You and the wife and the kids are gathered around the TV. You got it on YouTube and got it on channel Sunnahfollowers or channel lailanasheeba. And you guys should be learning this deen together, okay, as a family. So keep me on the big screen TV, and also have your cell phones available. Have your cell phones ready so you can screenshot the PowerPoint that I place up. Yeah, I know y'all do. They're saying they like my background. Yeah, I had to put that there. Teaching Islam in accordance to the understanding of the companions. I am back to using that, because that's what separates my dawah from all these other people y'all look at and see. They don't teach in accordance to the understanding of the companions. They teach in accordance to a madhab, or in accordance to their sheikh, or into accordance to somebody else. No, I'm giving you the understanding that the companions had about this religion, not the understanding of an imam or a sheikh or any of that. All right. So yeah, now I'm glad you like it. The brother say he likes that. Good job. Okay, so here's the PowerPoint. And again, for those of you who have not yet purchased the book, please go to Amazon.com. This is part of the Right Belief series. This is volume 3, Diluting El Wala Wal Bara. You want to get the whole trilogy, because I teach the whole trilogy. This is part of our curriculum. It started off with what it means to believe in Allah, get to know your Lord. That was the first of the trilogy. The second of the trilogy was the first part, volume 1 of Diluting Wala Wal Bara. And this is the second part, volume 2 of Diluting El Wala Wal Bara. So this is the third of the trilogy of the correct belief system. This volume focuses on how to keep your iman and you're living in a non-faith filled environment. So today we'll be covering pages 229 to 232. And we're going to speak about how the digital era that we are in, because of this internet, because of social media, Allah gives us knowledge of technology for our benefit. And because of this knowledge that Allah has shared with us, we are able to cultivate a virtual brotherhood, a virtual sisterhood because of it. Okay, so we can't say that Islam is outdated. It never becomes outdated. In fact, it becomes more enhanced because of the knowledge Allah shares with us. So let's take a look at it here. And Sheikh Karim Abu Zayd begins by saying that in the expanse landscape of the digital age, a transformative power emerges. This power transcends the limitations of geography. It transcends the limitations of culture and language. It allows us to develop global relationships with other Muslims, all because we believe in the same thing. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. You may never be able to travel to Saudi Arabia. You may never be able to travel to Portugal. You'll never be able to travel to Egypt, to Antarctica, to Australia, to South Africa, South America. But subhanAllah, because of this digital era that we are in, all you have to do is turn on your computer and mashallah, the world is at your fingertips. You're able to connect with people who believe the same thing that you believe. If you're living out in Okie Skokie, Appalachia, like I was, there's no mosques nowhere, no other Muslim in your town, in your city, in your village. Never fret, buy a computer. And because of that internet, you're able to connect with Muslims around the world and still keep your identity, maintain some sense of it. So the internet's ability to forge connections without boundaries. This is how we create a virtual community of believers. And this community can seamlessly transition from the digital world to the physical world. SubhanAllah, I made this website back in 1986. It wasn't until 3 years ago that my students got to see how I actually look because I started using video. And soon as I turned that video camera on, subhanAllah, I got to meet many of my students in person. They drove from New York. They drove from Kentucky. They came from California. And we all connected finally, as a people, when we've had this virtual sisterhood all along. So again, but that sisterhood was forged and developed right here on the internet. And then when we met up in person, oh my God, it was wonderful. So again, guys, that's the beauty of the internet. That's the beauty of this knowledge that Allah has shared with us. The digital era has unveiled a realm where a world exists without boundaries. And at the core of this phenomenon is the ability to unite people across the world seamlessly. We have social networks like Facebook, like Twitter, like Twitch, that serve as a meeting point for our different cultures. We have Zoom, the Zoom room like I have. That's our meeting point. What's the meeting point of Sunnah followers? Our Zoom room. That's why I tell you guys, stop by the Zoom room. Our Zoom room is open 24 hours. You'll get to see what goes on behind the scenes here. You'll get to meet Fresno. You'll get to meet me and see how I deal with anxiety on a daily basis, how I deal with stress. You'll get to meet Sabrine and see how even though you're old and living by yourself, you're not alone. How this circle of believers, we pray for each other. We support each other. We're there to protect each other. You're never alone. The believer is never alone. He has Allah and subhanallah. By turning on your computer, you got other believing Muslims from all over the world to watch over you when you sleep, to make sure that no harm comes to you. So again, bound together by our shared beliefs, our values and aspirations, this virtual brotherhood, this virtual sisterhood unites people who might otherwise have been alone, who might otherwise have been distant. Subhanallah. All of this is from Allah, guys. Again, Allah, He's the creator of good and He's the creator of evil. Allah, He's the one who gives knowledge to man. Man doesn't come up with knowledge on his own. Allah is the one that sends it. And the beauty of this virtual brotherhood that we establish because of this internet, it lies in the beauty of it is in its inclusivity. It's inclusivity. No longer are we confined and limited because we don't have money to travel. We don't have a mahram to travel with. No longer are we limited in learning about the religion because there ain't no mosque near me or I can't get to a mosque. Subhanallah, this digital era allows us to turn on the computer, turn on an iPad, even turn on your phone, and the world is at your fingertips. Subhanallah, subhanallah. So again, there's good in this internet, but we have to utilize it in a positive way. We should connect with people who believe as us and who practice as us and who have not lost their focus of what they were created to do. That's the problem. A lot of you will join groups and social media groups where you're with people whose belief system is tainted. I have come to discover as a daya, since Allah sent the war again, I have noticed that most Muslims in the world are mutazila. Most Muslims that I see in the world, they have a problem. They do not accept the qadr of Allah. They do not understand that Allah is in charge. So you guys have to be careful to make sure you surround yourself with Muslims on these social platforms who have the correct belief system. Otherwise, they can take you down. They can cause you to lose hope. Like I see a lot of my young Muslim brothers have lost hope because they're hanging on social platforms with the wrong people. They're hanging with Muslims who believe that Allah is not the creator of war, that Allah is not the creator of evil, that only man can. They're hanging around with people who believe that Allah is in control of everything except what's bad. What's bad, we're in control of. These people can destroy you. So again, there's a lot of good in the internet, but you have to be able to shift through it to attach to brothers and sisters who are, first of all, upon the correct belief system. And secondly, who are practicing this religion as Allah commanded with the understanding that those companions had. Because then, bound by our faith, we become driven to not only strengthen our bonds with each other, but to also strengthen our relationship with Allah, our love for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and our love for this religion. Okay? So again, we have to be careful, because once that fitra has been awakened in your heart, remember, Shaitan will do everything in his power to try to extinguish it. So, for those of us whose fitra is awakened, we have to remember, guys, that between beliefs, our beliefs, this is where we find the support that we need in our journey back to Allah. Due to our beliefs, our shared beliefs, this is how we're able to cipher through the distractions, living in a world that is dominated by people who don't believe in Allah, living in a world that is dominated by people who believe in secular knowledge as opposed to religious knowledge. So again, guys, all of this shows the importance of using the digital media in the right way, making sure that the groups and the relationships that you form with other Muslims, that they are Muslims that are upon the right belief. And again, the right belief system consists of bara, understanding that our allegiance is to Allah, to the Prophet, to the religion, and each other. Our allegiance is free of racism. Our religion is free. Our belief is free of tribalism. Okay? The principles of allegiance and disassociation, that's what nurtures us. That's what gives us the comfort and strength that we need to embark upon this path of awakening. The principles of allegiance and disassociation, they encourage us to make connections based on faith and shared values, and not based on religion, color, culture, or flags and geography. And what is bara? What is meant by allegiance? What is meant by disassociation? I'm going to disassociate from anyone or anything that stands between me and my relationship with Allah. I'm going to disassociate from any group, from any platform that speaks badly, derogatorily, or wrongly about my Lord, about my prophet, or the believers. That's why I tell you, young brothers, you have to be careful. If you're in a platform and the person that's speaking is calling other Muslims kafir, you should know to leave that platform. If they're putting down other Muslims in a bad way, leave that platform. If they're giving you information about this deen and it's not backed up with clear hadith, clear examples from the companions, leave that platform. That's bara. My allegiance is to Allah. My allegiance is to this religion and its truthfulness. And my allegiance is to the Prophet Muhammad, not no man, not no woman, not anyone else. Everybody understand that? So this is what this chapter, I really like the way Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid put this chapter together, because you do have some Muslims out there, or people who call themselves Muslims, that will try to tell you that the Quran is outdated, that the hadiths are outdated, they don't apply to today. You even have some Muslims out there who believe that Allah has not even sent the message everywhere. Subhanallah. don't get this religion twisted, guys.